Hey, what is up guys, and welcome for another amazing build for Remnant 2. What I have for you today is probably the best build in the game that will have you clear Apocalypse difficulty with next to no effort at all. What I'm showing you is all on Apocalypse, not on easy or normal, but on the hardest difficulty there is. This is not one of those builds where it's good against one or two of the bosses, but rather it's good against everything. It's got great damage and insane survivability. No need to worry about dying after a single hit. Even on Apocalypse difficulty, you can prevent even bosses from doing anything to you at all. Even with just 50% HP, this build will make you nearly unkillable. I was able to clear the entire campaign on Apocalypse with this build alone, and I had no troubles whatsoever with any of the fights. Whether it was bosses or just the regular enemies around the world, you're just so tanky that it's literally impossible to kill you. If you play on anything other than Apocalypse, then you will just never die. 100% I can guarantee that. Please note that there are still some attacks from bosses that are made to one-shot you no matter how tanky you are. So you're still required to dodge some of the attacks, but other than that, as you can see, I can just take the hits from any enemy and I will never die. Even the final boss of the game poses no challenge on Apocalypse. This build is just that good. It may not be the strongest or get the fastest boss clears, but that really doesn't matter. If you can stay alive, then everything will eventually die. With that, let's get right into the build. As for the class that we are using, the primary class is going to be our engineer. The engineer's heavy gun is great for taking out any mobs in the game, and they deal pretty decent damage to bosses as well. I tend to use the flamethrower through most of the runs as it can take out multiple enemies really easily, and it doesn't require you to wind up the gun before it can fire, which makes it an easy way to fight all the smaller enemies. Then I always change it to the minigun whenever I'm about to face bosses or if I'm in the road, because every enemy is basically flying. I don't particularly use the impact cannon because of its short range when you place it down, and because of the slow fire rate if you have it in hand. Still, if you want to use it, feel free to do so. Also, the engineer has some great perks. Most notably is the magnetic field, which gives us 15% damage reduction while we have the heavy weapon in hand. It is better to have it in hand, otherwise you won't get the full use of this perk. If you place it, you will still get damage reduction, but you will always have to be in close proximity to it to take effect. Move away just a little bit and you won't get that damage reduction. Whereas if you have it in hand, you will always get that damage reduction. Then with the surplus perk, this basically allows our relic to instantly charge up our heavy weapon if we ever run out of ammo. You can see that most of the time when I use the relic, it is not because of me healing, but mostly to get the ammo back on the heavy weapons. Our relics act as an instant skill cooldown. Anytime my ammo runs out on my minigun, I just drop it and instantly use the relic to get my ammo back for it. Then I go straight back into using the minigun. As for our secondary class, we have a few options. You can go for either the Challenger, Medic or the Summoner. I chose to go for the Challenger because of his Juggernaut skill, which gives us a big 3 stacks of bulwark and increased movement speed for 25 seconds. But more than that is the fact that you can't get staggered very easily, so you can just stand there with your minigun and mow down the bosses without even flinching. Plus, Challenger's perks also increase all of our damage by 35% while near enemies, and activating skills near enemies gives us bonus damage reduction, and also using a relic gives us more stacks of bulwark. We can't seem to get more than 5 stacks of bulwarks at a time, so keep that in mind when you're using your skills. Now as for our gear, try to use the heaviest armor that you have. The Letter Mark II is a great option. The more armor you have, the more damage reduction you will get. Try to keep it below 75 just so you don't flop when you dodge. For the relic, we use the Ruined Heart. This is overall the best relic as it gives us good healing as well as mod regeneration, so you can use it to replenish your ammo on your weapon and also your mod power as well. Add in some armor effectiveness, damage reduction and skill damage mods to further the damage from your heavy gun and get some more survivability. For the weapons, it really doesn't matter what you go for, as most of the time you won't be using the main weapon, so the weapons is completely up to you. Now for the most important items. For our amulet, we use the Indignant Fetish. With this one, whenever we take damage, it will give us a bonus 25% to all damage dealt, which includes our heavy gun, and then also we will get a bonus 10% damage reduction. We will always be getting hit, so this effect will be active all the time. Then this is the main ring that you will need to get, which is the restriction cord. This prevents us from going above 50% HP and also gives us another 10% damage reduction. This ring is super important, after which every other item just falls into play. The hardened coil gives us more damage reduction based on our health. Since we'll always be at 50% HP, then we will get that bonus 15% damage reduction at all times. Then we have the lusted heirloom, which will give us 2 stacks of bulwark while we are at 50 HP. This will also always be active all the time. Then finally the amber moonstone. This is the final icing on the cake. If your health goes below 30%, then we'll get a further 25% damage reduction and we will be immune to all temporary status effects like fire, shock and all of that. If you ever do get below 30%, then it becomes even harder to kill us because of the another 25% damage reduction. It is so crazy that I can launch my firestorm mod, walk into the fire and even take the enemy's attacks head on, and I'm still not worried cause my HP stays at that 30% mark, that the fire gets applied then removed straight away, and I can basically heal faster than taking damage. The ring's effects keep on proccing cause I go above 30% then below 30%, so all the status effects just keep getting removed. All these items play a huge role in survivability. Miss one and you will see a big difference. You will start to die easily if you're hit, so all of them are really important. As for our traits, we have Fortify, which will increase all of our armor, Regrowth, which will give us constant health regen every second, Strong Back, which will lower our weight level, Triage will boost all of our healing, and a few in health, stamina and mod regeneration, and then Expertise to get our skill cooldowns faster, and Bark Skin for the damage reduction, and finally Siphoner for life steal. All of these provide us with a lot of healing, so they are all very important. And that is it for our build. This is truly the pinnacle of builds in Remnant 2. Not just because it can do good damage, but just how easy it makes it to clear Apocalypse difficulty. I knew I would have trouble clearing the Apocalypse difficulty, but with this, I had no trouble whatsoever. No need to dodge precisely or time your dodges so that you can die in a single hit. Most times I found myself dying just from the smaller pesky enemies that just happened to pop up out of nowhere and kill me from behind. Now I don't even need to worry about that cause they won't even be able to kill me. I truly felt like I was the boss through the whole game just cause it felt like I could never die no matter what. Even if I got myself surrounded, I was more than able to get out of any situation. I hope you guys enjoyed the build and I'm having a blast with the game. And let me know if you'll be trying this build out to beat Apocalypse difficulty. I would love to hear from you all. I will catch you all next time.